Foreign tourists, you like to enter the Philippines. While the Philippines welcomes you with an open arms, we have been open since February 10. So, what's the protocol, Jennifer? What are the processes? What do we need to do? What do we need to prepare? Well, I would like to start this video with some good news that travel insurance is no longer required. If you are a foreign national, a foreign tourist who would like to travel to the Philippines, visit the Philippines, travel insurance is not required. It's optional. It's your choice whether you're going to get one or not. Now with this video, I will divide this into 3 sections: immigration, vaccination, and then pre-departure test and forms. Immigration. Jennifer, do we have to apply for a visa or do anything? It's just like pre-pandemic times. Visa-free privileges. If you are, let's say, an American, a Canadian, a UK national, Australian, South Korean, Japanese, your country, you're a national of one of these 157 countries, you may enter the Philippines visa-free, and upon arrival, you will be given a 30-day stay. Yes, that's the initial allowable stay. However, if you would like to stay longer, well, you may easily apply for extension of stay at the Bureau of Immigration office, whichever is close to you. They're spread out throughout the country. So you just have to find an immigration office if you want to stay longer than 30 days. And it's easy, you just need cash and passport. Next up is visa required nationals. Just like before, for example, Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, what else? Afghanistan nationals, they need to secure a visa before entering the Philippines. The good thing is that the Philippine embassies and consulates are open to accepting 9A temporary visitors visa. So you just have to coordinate with the embassy or consulate nearest to you. But I know majority of you who are watching are coming from visa-free countries, so you may just simply come in visa-free 30 days. Allowable stay, and if you want to extend, you may simply extend at the Bureau of Immigration office here in the Philippines. Another thing about immigration, your passport. Your passport for more than 6 months valid. We don't want foreigners whose passports are near expiration. Your passport should be at more than 6 months valid. Now, vaccination is part of the new normal. So what about it, Jennifer? If you are 12 years old and over, you are a foreign national, you need to be fully vaccinated to enter the Philippines. For children 11 years old and below, they don't have to be fully vaccinated. They are exempted as long as they are traveling with fully vaccinated parents or guardian. While the accepted proof of vaccination, a government-issued vaccination card or certificate is accepted. So there is a list of countries. So vaccination proof issued by these countries on your screen are accepted in the Philippines. So for example, if you're vaccinated in the US and you have a white CDC card, you're good to go. That is accepted. As long as you're fully vaccinated, there is no quarantine upon arrival. Nada. After you finish at the airport, you are free to go wherever you want, whatever you want to do. Next and last is entry requirements. What do you need on the day of your flight? What will your airlines ask from you? So let's divide this into 3. There are 3 things. There's negative test result, 1-half pass, and return ticket. Let's start with the negative test result. So all passengers 4 years old and above must show a negative test result, either an RT-PCR or an antigen test. So an RT-PCR taken within 48 hours or a remotely supervised or laboratory-based rapid antigen test administered and certified by a healthcare professional in a healthcare facility. It can either be a laboratory, clinic, pharmacy, or other similar establishment taken within 24 hours. So the counting is based on your first port of embarkation, excluding layovers. However, there are exemptions to that. If you have a booster shot, if you are an adult, 18 years old and above, you don't need to show a negative test result. You are exempted from the pre-departure testing as long as you have a booster shot. And then if you have a teenager, as long as they're fully vaccinated, they are exempted from pre-departure testing. 11 to 4 will follow the protocol of the accompanying parent or guardian. So for example, if you have a 10-year-old kid and you're boosted, then the kid doesn't need negative test result. For another thing is if you have a 3 years old and below kid, they are totally exempted. So if you have received at least 1 booster shot, you are an adult, you are exempted from pre-departure testing. And most airlines, most layover countries, will only check the requirements of your destination country. So you only have to follow Philippine rules. However, there is an exemption to that. Taiwan airport po, if you have a layover in Taiwan, you must show an RT-PCR test result taken within 2 days before your flight. This is an exemption to if you have a layover in Taiwan, whether you're boosted or not, it doesn't matter. You need RT-PCR if you have a layover in Taiwan. But in other countries like Qatar, South Korea, Singapore, Japan, Hong Kong, no need for tests as long as it is only a layover. So only Taiwan I know has strict testing requirement for transit passengers. So be sure to check your layover countries for any requirements and be updated with airline advisories. Next up, we have One Health Pass. One Health Pass is a contact tracing form used by the Philippines. It records your personal info, you have to submit there your vaccination proof or your negative test result if you have one. So it is important and it's very needed. Everyone needs to register. It's a website, onehealthpass.com.ph. You have to register prior to traveling to the Philippines. This is required for check-in. You won't be allowed to board your flight without the One Health Pass registration. So once you register, you will receive a barcode. This barcode will be shown to your airline, will be asked upon check-in. So it's important that you have it. So again, to register, you go to onehealthpass.com.ph and this website is absolutely free. There are phishing websites that would pretend to be One Health Pass. They will ask for your credit card details. Do not. Only go to the official government website, onehealthpass.com.ph. And if you're finding it difficult to register, I've made a tutorial video on how to register. This video, I'll put the link in the description box. Or if you need help from family or friends, they can also do the registration for you. Just today, I helped a friend of my auntie with her One Health Pass and she successfully landed today in the Philippines. So yes, a family or a friend can do the registration for you. They just have to send the barcode to you. Now, when to register, Jennifer? Can I register 2 months before my flight? No. Well, if you are exempted from pre-departure testing, you can start your registration 2 days before your flight, within 2 days, or a day before your flight. On the other hand, if you have, let's say you don't have a booster and you need to have a negative test result, the best time for you to register to One Health Pass would be after you receive your negative test result. Again, if you're exempted, you can register within 2 days. If you're not exempted from testing, register after you receive your negative test result. Lastly, a return ticket. What's that? Oh, a return ticket. It's been required ever since, even before the pandemic. For temporary visitors, you guys, tourists, you must have valid tickets for your return journey to the port of origin or to your next port of destination corresponding to your permitted or allowable duration of stay under a valid visa or visa-free entry as the case may be. So for most of you, Americans, Canadians, UK nationals, Germans, and so on and so forth, under that 157 countries, you are only allowed to stay for 30 days, right? So then you must show a return ticket or an exit ticket to a different country. It shows that you will not be overstaying on your allowable stay. Okay, so you may secure this if your stay is less than 30 days. So this would be easy for you. You've already got that. But if you're someone who's planning to stay for more than 30 days, well, how do I secure that, Jennifer? I've already bought a ticket that will leave the Philippines in more than 2 months or in more than 30 days. Should I rebook my ticket? No, not necessarily. So you may rent a ticket for just $14. It's a valid ticket. I've checked it before. It's valid. onwardticket.com, or you may also buy a throwaway ticket, let's say Manila to Singapore, which is cancelable or refundable. There's Cebu Pacific, cheap Manila to Singapore flights. You can cancel it and then keep it as a travel fund, and then the travel fund you can use to fly domestically in the Philippines. So I've presented options in this video if you want a guide on how to secure this exit or return ticket. Well, there are airlines that allow you to cancel the booking without any fees. That is also a good option. So this is also important, a return ticket. Sometimes the airlines will check it. Sometimes also the immigration in the Philippines will check it. So in summary, it can be overwhelming with all the information. So I'll give you the summary. If you are a fully vaccinated foreign tourist with booster shot, first requirement is that your passport should be more than 6 months valid at the time of entry. Second, your vaccination card or certificate with booster. Next up is your exit or your return ticket of not more than 30 days if you're coming as visa-free. And then your One Health Pass, barcode, or QR code. That's it, Jennifer. Yes. Basically, it's the return ticket, the vaccination proof, and One Health Pass. No more insurance. While for fully vaccinated foreign tourists without booster, your passport should be more than 6 months valid or at least 6 months valid at the time of entry. Next up is you need a negative test result. It can either be an RT-PCR or an antigen. There's a difference. If it's antigen, it's only valid for 24 hours before departure. Or if it's RT-PCR, it's valid. It should be taken within 48 hours before departure. Next up is your vaccination card or certificate, your exit or your return ticket of not more than 30 days if you're coming as visa-free, and then One Health Pass, barcode, or QR code. Next up, we have unvaccinated foreign tourists. This one is very tricky. Basically, the IATF, the national government, says you're still not allowed. There are some loopholes in Cebu which you can avail of, that there comes a risk. I cannot give assurance. It would really depend on what your airline knows. Your airline should be aware of the executive order of the Governor Gwen, or they may acknowledge it. I cannot give assurance. But again, choose Cebu as port of entry if you're taking that risk of traveling as an unvaccinated foreign tourist now. So for unvaccinated foreign tourists, your passport should be more than 6 months valid or at least 6 months valid. A negative test result, RT-PCR or antigen. A pre-booked quarantine hotel for 5 nights. There is a list to that. You cannot just choose any hotel. It has to be accredited for quarantine. I'll put the link in the description box. And then exit or return ticket of not more than 30 days. Your One Health Pass, barcode, or QR code. And again, coordinate with your airline and choose Cebu as port of entry. That's all about foreign tourist entry to the Philippines. I hope my explanation was clear and was not overwhelming. And if it was helpful to you, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. I've got you covered when traveling to the Philippines. And I also update on things that are happening here. If this is helpful, share it to anyone or any friend who will be traveling to the Philippines who want to visit the country. We're very open. Yes, mask is still required, but pretty much you can do anything now here. Everything is open. So God bless you all. Have a safe travel and smooth arrival. Bye.